Hey dudes, Silvite Soltis here, and welcome back to another episode of Memories of Vanilla, my reflective series of my early adventures in World of Warcraft. Last time, I told about my warrior's bow staff and how exciting it was to bonk enemies in the face with a wooden stick. Well, today we're going to continue that story a bit with another warrior story, one of daring and adventures in every Alliance player's favorite leveling dungeon, the Dead Mines. Before starting though, remember to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss updates when more content is released. There's a lot more coming between now and August 27th, and I'm sure that you don't want to miss out on it. But with that out of the way, let's get into the story, shall we? Back in 2006, I was a guild officer in a small casual leveling guild on Whisperwind called the Guardians of Azeroth. I don't remember why or how I became an officer, likely just the fact that I was one of the few members that was online all the time. But I do remember that around this time we were looking to expand and bolster our ranks before the release of the Burning Crusade next year. So, in an effort to do this, the GM and I decided to hold a test for interested participants. As far as I recall, exactly one person expressed interest. A level 35 warrior named Liberate. And so, we had our candidate. Now, what we needed was a test to see if he was truly worthy of the title of officer. Well, at this time my warrior was around level 17 or 18. And I was planning to stop leveling at 19 to do some BG twinking. So I thought it would be cool if I could snag some twin cruel barbs from the Dead Mines in order to wreck some face in Warsong Gulch. And since Liberate was level 35, I devised what I thought would be a unique test of his skill as a warrior. He would have to run my warrior, Aoyama Motoko, through the Dead Mines. So, with a plan in mind, the instructions were given, and we headed over to the dungeon. Within minutes of arriving outside, we stood at the instance portal, ready to face the challenge ahead. Liberate moved in carefully, pulling packs of mobs back into the entryway, and taking them down one by one. To be honest though, I really just busied myself with looting everything rather than actually paying attention to what he was doing. Moving through the caverns, we defeated each boss in time. Though, much like my initial run of the Dead Mines on Silvite, I accidentally pulled the patrols that spawned behind us after one of the boss's demise. Oops. Eventually, after wiping about 3 times from the high damage that elite mobs could inflict on even a level 35 warrior, we made it to the ship at the end of the dungeon. This was the final test. I stood pretty far back as Liberate ran forward and cleared the pirates and their parrots, only following when he beckoned me over. At last, we stood in front of him, Edwin Van Cleef. It was the final test. Liberate charged in and quickly dispatched the 2 bodyguards before focusing on VC himself. Throughout the fight, he got pretty low due to the damage of the additional bodyguards that spawned. But with some sweeping strikes and retaliation, he was able to finish them all off. The boss fell, a new officer rose, and a newbie warrior got a shiny new sword. I hope you enjoyed this story of my first guild's somewhat ridiculous officer promotion protocol. It's one of those experiences from back in the day that I'll never forget. Liberate stayed with our guild all the way through Vanilla, though we did part ways sometime around the beginning of the Burning Crusade, when our guild basically fell apart. I did meet him again later on during the daily grind on the Isle of Keldanas, toward the end of that expansion though, and we've been friends in the game ever since. Hell, he might even be watching this video right now. But anyway, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more in the future, remember to hit that subscribe button, as as well as hit the bell for notifications. Also, consider supporting me over on Patreon so that I can continue creating content like this in the future. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter for updates when more content is released. But until next time, take it easy, guys.